Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel St. Nightingale. In this tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you how I made these structured sleeves. Let's go. I'm going to be working with gum stay to create the structure. The length of this structured sleeves is 24 and that's what I'm marking across. I picked up my ruler to connect the lines together. The quantity of gum stay that I used was half of the gum stay measurement when you buy, and that's what you can see here. I'm now going to further divide this into two equal parts, right? And that's why I'm marking that area. As you can see, I picked up my long ruler again and then I connected the lines. In the end, I'm going to be bringing out two structures from this piece of material. I went further again to get the half measurement of this, and that's what I'm marking now. So you can see that we have a plus sign. After doing that, I went further again to get the center point of this part. So in the end, I'm going to be dividing this into four equal parts, right? And I will show you what I intend to do with this. Remember, I said I'm going to be getting two structured patterns from this gum stay. I used my ruler again to connect the dots, and there you have it. Then I went to the tip, right, of the gum stay, and then I took out 2 inches on both sides. You can see me marking 2 inches. I picked my measuring tape again and I marked another 2 inches, right? Then I went to the edge and I connected where I marked 2 inches to that place, and then you can see me connecting it down. The width measurement, the total width measurement of the center part is 6 inches, right? And I already measured that before getting this, right? So I went on to connect the lines. In total, what you will get is the full length of this structure is 24. The smallest part of this is 2 inches. I already factored in my sewing allowance, and the widest part of this structure is 6 inches, also factoring in my sewing allowance. So by the end of the day, when we sew this together, we're going to lose about an inch on all the sides, right? So let me just trim out this pattern. So the structure, two structures are ready. I'm just going to place on another, this is on fold, and I'm going to get another structure, right? In the end, I'm going to be working with 4 pieces of structures, which means that I'm going to be doubling this gum stay twice for each part of the structured sleeves. After this, I'm going to pick one item and then cut this out on the bridal satin that I'm going to use for the structure. So I've placed the sample on this and I'm pinning this down with the pin. I'm now going to pick my scissors and then I'm going to trace this out on the fabric that I'm going to be using for the structure, which is bridal satin. So this is ready now. I'm going to now take this to my sewing machine. As you can see, I'm going to show you how I arrange this. I have on each structure, right, I have 2 gum stay, hard gum stay, the hardest of the gum stay ever, the hardest one, right? I also have 2 layers of my bridal satin already turned in such a way that once I sew and I flip, you have the shiny part showing on both sides. So let's go to the machine now and sew the sides. Remember, I said the full length of this structure is 24. The width, starting with the smallest part of the width, is 4 inches. 2 inches on both sides, and then the widest part as well is 6 inches, which is 3 inches on both sides. By the time we sew this, we'll be losing about an inch from this measurement that I've called out, right? So let's sew. After sewing, right, I'm now going to go to the ironing table to press this out. So I've pressed this out on the ironing tape, I've flipped over and I've pressed out, and I'm now going to create my boning case right on the edge, which is about half an inch, but with just a bit allowance, right? You also have to factor in the size of the boning stick that you're going to be using before you do this. So just cross check to be sure that the boning stick can pass through whatever sewing that you have at the edge. I'm going to do this for the second structure as well, and then I'm going to go back to the ironing table and flatten this out, right? So after flattening this out, I picked up my boning stick, right? I already measured it to know, I mean, I'm working with 24, right? But because of the fact that I have to close out the edges of the structured sleeves, I made this about 23 inches long, right? I burnt the edges so that they are not sharp, and I passed it into the casing that I had created at the tip. I'm going to do this for both structures, and once I'm done, I'm going to go back to the fabric that I have put on the mannequin, and I'm going to sew this down. I'm just using my iron now to press it so it takes on a very, very smooth shape. So this is the fabric now. What I'm doing now is to use my pin to pin this structured sleeves right on the dress. Before pinning, let me also mention that I weave both edges. Remember, I said my boning stick is not in any way interfering with the full length of this structure, because I made it shorter so that when I want to weave, it can pass through my weaving machine, right? So I'm using my bobbin pins now to pin this to the dress to have a vision of what this will look like, right? I will still take out the one on the other side, the one I just placed now, but I'm pinning this now to see if my vision of the structured sleeves is coming alive with what I have at the moment. So this is it. This is it pinned down. This is what it looks like. Remember, this is not where this ends, right? I'm still going to be placing the organza fabric on this to give it more flames, or to make it look more beautiful, right? So I'm going to just quickly fix the pleated wrapper that we have in front on the dress, and then let's go to create our structure using the organza. So before I place the organza fabric on this, I'm going to be sewing this, hand sewing on the fabric, right, to just create the firmness that I desire for this. As I'm sewing through, I'm also removing the pins that I used to hold this down. I've moved to the back now, and I'm going to also do the same for the back. So I am done using my hand to sew this on the fabric. Like I said, I'm going to start with this part first because the other parts would need to flap over this first structure. I'm going to start out by pinning this down. I'm going to use pins at first before I proceed to using needle and thread to control the pleats on the structure. If you want to know the number of yards that I used, I bought 3 yards of organza and splitted this into 2 to give me 1.5 yard for each of the structure. Depending on how full you want this to be, you can work with as much as 2 yards each for each of the structured sleeves. It all depends on your budget and what you're looking at aiming with this or aiming at with this pattern. So I've used the pins, right, to secure across, and I'm going to now be using needle and thread to further secure this down in front, right? So let's sew this down. Alright, I'm going to be trimming with my scissors, and I'm going to now use the lighter to burn the edges so it doesn't loosen. Alright, so we're done with that side. Let's proceed to the other side, the other structure. I'm going to be using pins to pin this down before I proceed to sewing with my hand. Alright, so let's place the organza fabric on this other part as well. The same technique I used for the other side is the same thing I'm going to be doing on this side. Use the pins to first secure the edges, right, and then begin pleating the fabric on the structure. So I'm done pleating now. I'm going to now use needle and thread to sew this down on the fabric. So just like I did on the other side, I'm going to use my lighter as well to burn the excess, right? Afterwards, I'm going to use a piece of the fabric, the material, to cover up that side. I'm going to be using my hot glue to create a pattern on that side, so it just conceals the sewing and makes it very, very neat, finishing it, right? I've done that. Let's go to the back now, right, and sew the back as well. After this, I'm going to use the lighter to conceal that part. I'm going to use a piece of pattern from the main material now to cover up the part that I sewed, right, that I unstitched with the glue. So our clothes is ready. Let me just show you what this looks like from my view. I mean, this is so lovely. I love the black, stands out for me, and the mix with gray, right? And then I just love how this is in sync. I think the choice of black was a great choice. Using black was a great choice rather than using gray. What I've just blended so much. If you learned a thing or two in this video, let me know in the comment section. If you also have questions for me, you can leave them down below in the comment section, right? Thank you for watching. Do not forget to also subscribe if this is your first time watching this video. You can click and watch other tutorial videos that I have on my channel. I know it's been a while that you heard from me, but then just be patient with me. There's more coming. There's more exciting news to share. Thank you for watching. Till I come your way again, being God and being Christ. Bye bye. Keep creating magic. It's a Nightingale.